If you follow Second Amendment news or are yourself a gun advocate, you've probably been following the rally that happened on January 20th in Richmond. This gathering was held to protest the proposed bills being pushed forward by Virginia's Governor, Ralph Northam. Many in the nation, including our law enforcement, were outraged over how strict and draconian the new proposed laws were going to be on the citizens' rights to bear arms. So thousands upon thousands of people showed up to the Capitol that day to demonstrate their contempt for the proposed laws that would infringe on their rights. And of course, just like any other gathering having to do with the Second Amendment, there was going to be strong opposition. Near the end of our stay at the Capitol, I was given the opportunity to have a discussion with a man who is staunchly against citizens owning what he called assault rifles. Like many Second Amendment debates, it got quite heated at points, but by the very end, I believe I was able to change his mind. Tell me what you think. But before we start rolling that sweet footage, I just want to remind you guys to subscribe, like, hit the notifications bell so you can see when we're actually posting things, and also consider supporting us through Patreon and Subscribestar. Your subscription really helps us out. It allows us to do a lot of the things that we're doing. We really appreciate it, and the more movement we can get, the more change we can make. Another way you can support our channel is to shop with us at joagear.com. Link in the description below.
The problem and the fear comes from people taking advantage of other people. Mm-hmm. And with respect to you gentlemen, it's like, yeah, guns save lives, but they also take lives, obviously. Of course they do. And I think, I'm not sure the statistics, the genius guy that left earlier, who knew all this stuff, could probably tell us.
Can I see what your sign says?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so I can actually answer the question for you. So how many people do you think are killed with an assault weapon every year?
Well, I don't know. I don't know that statistic. However, let me say this, that on the rare occasion that somebody goes out with one to a schoolyard or to a shopping mall or to a ballpark or right here,
what about?
Bam!
Sure,
they're gone.
And I can understand that because
I know they're not legal.
It is a much more capable weapon than a handgun. That's why people want them. I'm going to tell you just some statistics real quick on it. So 3% of all gun crime right now is committed with any kind of rifle, bolt action, semi-automatic, like the assault weapon. A fraction of that is committed with an AR-15.
What did you shoot?
I've shot a when I was a kid. I shot BB.
Okay.
You want to laugh at me, or you want me to answer the question?
So real quick, I wanted to.
I haven't answered your question. You're laughing at me already. Excuse me.
I wanted to finish my point real quick. So
answer the question.
Yeah.
Oh yes, sir.
Drywall matters for home defense.
All right. Let me address this gentleman who asked me to answer a question and laughed at me
But I was
before I
also
could
talking
answer
to you
it.
before you shifted to him. I wanted to get to your point. When I said drywall and you talk about flesh, the reason why I'm talking about drywall is AR-15s are typically used for home defense. That's why people need it, because it is less dangerous than using a 9mm shotgun for home. So how do you rebuttal? What is your rebuttal to that?
That when they fall in the hands of the wrong people, they decide they're going to go out and kill their family
or
other people. And
what about handguns?
That's my answer. Let me address this.
Yeah, real quick. What about handguns then? So I want you to be consistent in your argument. What about handguns? Handguns kill vastly more people, and they do the same exact thing when they get in the hands of the wrong people.
When they get in the hands of the wrong people. That's why I do agree with what the Democratic government here has done, is that background checks.
They already do that.
Like a mental case or a violent person.
They already do that.
All right, we could talk. I want to address this man's question. You asked me a question. Before you laugh at me again, let me answer that,
No,
okay?
it took me forever to even say BB gun, so I just question whether you've ever.
That's because I was talking to him.
Okay, so do you, two questions.
Let me answer your question. Can I answer your question?
Of course.
Thank
Answer
you.
The first one. The second one is, do you own a gun?
No.
Okay. Have you ever shot a gun?
I haven't answered the first question.
That's
do you want my answer, or are you just going to talk over me?
No, you're talking over me right now. So just answer the question. It's very simple.
Okay, I'm going to tell you. How much activity have I had with guns? When I was a kid, I had a BB gun. Started with that pellet gun.
Yep.
I went hunting with my father.
Okay.
I was around guns.
Yes.
I went to camp. I fired 22s. I fired 22 longs, 22 shorts.
Okay.
Then when I was working construction, my boss had a gun. He had a Colt 45. We would have target practice. I was really good at it. You know why? Because I knew that when you're aiming at something, you hold your breath. You don't breathe. The other guy said, how come you can always hit the target? It's like, because you guys are going like this. Whereas I go, squeeze it gently. That's your answer to your question. Go ahead, laugh. Then why is it that this thing is being put forth by the government? People are down here protesting. That's specific thing.
Because it's not about the actual laws in terms of firearms ownership. It's taking away of those rights. That's the only issue we have. I'm for background checks because I actually take criminals off the street. That's what I do for a living right now.
Okay.
And I've had guys tell me, hey, I bought a gun from the local gun guy for $700 and I didn't have to pass a background check because I'm a felon. I'm not for that. I think those people should go to jail. But all these people right here, they rely on the Second Amendment to protect themselves. The girl that was standing here, regardless of her demeanor, she's, minority, LGBT. A lot of those people, they need firearms to stop people from bashing them, hurting them, robbing them. People that have small children and wives that are home alone. They rely on what you call an assault weapon, the AR-15, because it is so easy to shoot. Yes, that makes it easier to kill people with in a mass shooting, sure. But it also makes it easier for someone who has barely any firearms experience to defend their family. You're listening, right?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Okay.
But I'm also thinking while you're talking.
Okay. My final thought on that is, with this sentiment, you're not really thinking about the fact that a lot of people do use these weapons to protect themselves in real cases.
True.
And you would be taking their ability away to do that.
As a species, we hope we can evolve.
Correct.
Evolution.
Correct.
We become smarter, we have better hearts, we have better intentions, all that stuff. So I would like to think there will come a time where through educating ourselves and using the right side of our emotions, our brains, our hearts, realizing do no harm, so forth and so on.
I agree.
So let's say we can start with educating our own kids. And when kids are kids, their main gig is like, I'm going to be a cool guy. And the way boys do that often is to be a tough guy.
I don't know. My
but
phone's
they're
dead. I
really,
can't check
bullies
now.
are
When I was
cowards
making
because they
so
only
many
pick
phone
on people
calls
they know they
down,
can
I
take.
swear
If I know this guy's a cop and I go, I'm not going to mess with him. And I know this guy's like he's like the class nerd, and I'm a bully. I'm going to go mess with him. So it's really cowardice, and cowardice is not cool. If we can teach kids that, we can evolve.
I can tell you want peace. Like, you're a peacemaker, you want peace. That's what everybody here wants too. We're coming at it from two different angles. Because people here want to educate themselves in the way of using force, most of the people I met here today, and most of the people that I instruct, they're not doing it because they want to exert their will on other people. They're doing it because they understand that evil exists in the world, no matter what. And we haven't evolved past the point of being evil to each other. And I know that that's a good thing that we should be aspiring to. It's not going to happen in our lifetimes, unfortunately. We're not going to evolve beyond tribalism.
Anybody want to split an energy bar with me?
I'm good.
I'm trying, man.
But my thing is this: until that goes away in our species, the strong have to protect
That's
the
what I'm
weak.
talking about, the evolution.
It's not going to happen in our lifetime. So that right now is not going to help
They
us.
weren't going to put a man on the moon in my lifetime.
You really think the species is going to evolve physically to the
I
point where
think
there
right
is
now,
no longer tribalism?
I think we the human race are in a battle between humanity and technology and science. So all that stuff that could happen for the good can be taken advantage of for the bad, and it's just like an AR-15 or like. Okay, kind of to answer your question, I guess, which I said I couldn't really answer.
She works 30 feet from the house.
I can't answer. Yeah, but my fear is that these weapons, like I said, I'm not anti-Second Amendment.
But you're anti.
I am
go.
anti
This is
like
CNN,
assault
sir.
weapons going into hands of people that are cuckoo. My definition of assault weapon is a non-gun owner and as a person that doesn't know that much about it. It's something like, let's say I had the kind of weapon where I could just come in here and go, pow, and take you guys out in like 4 seconds.
I can do that with a 22 caliber handgun. It's not an assault weapon.
Well, you can't do it in 4 seconds.
I can do it in 4 seconds.
Well,
I have the ability to, and if I can do it, that means mechanically somebody else can learn how to do it too. And
last call.
My only thing is, if you're going to be against something like that, I'm not saying this to be insulting. I understand where you're coming from.
I don't mean to sound unrespectful when I say I respect you, but I can't say that I respect you if I get to sing it.
If you're moving against an object, know it intimately and say, this is what I do not agree with. I don't agree with the functionality of this specific thing. So that way when we have a debate, and it's a friendly debate, you can say, guys, I think that this specific thing about AR-15s or whatever, semi-automatic rifles, I think this is too dangerous for the society, and then we can have a discussion. There were over 20,000 people here. Almost half of them had some sort of weapons on them. How many gunshots did you guys hear today? How many NDs, negligent discharges and murders that happened today? That's probably one of the highest concentration of armed with assault rifles in the United States at any given time right here. And there were absolutely no murders that we know of. There were no. I definitely didn't hear any gunshots today. And the police weren't
You
scrambling.
really you don't want to limit the type of guns that a population can have, because like for example, smaller people could struggle with like a shotgun. People the recoil is really, some people just can't handle that. So they would like a AR-15 because it has less recoil and better accuracy. You know, you don't want to limit the type of firearms that people can use to defend themselves with. It's very important that you get a gun that you can work with fast.
I don't need a gun, man.
So,
Like you want one. I would never own one.
yeah, you said that you did martial arts, you did self-defense, right? Back in the day.
So check this out.
Okay.
You got to know who's coming behind.
Right.
So I got a black belt.
Same here.
I've only used it twice.
Right. So I've been studying martial arts for 20 years. I teach it professionally, and I also teach a lot of women's classes. And they are
Where are you? Where?
Richmond Beach.
Okay. Yeah, I heard that.
So a lot of them are disadvantaged in size, and they also don't spend 20 years learning martial arts like I did. So when I teach a women's self-defense class, they're going to be like, well, I'm here now because usually something unfortunately happened to them. And I have to let them know, hey, the great equalizer, yes, you can spend 20 years learning martial arts like everybody else here. It takes that long to get good sometimes unless you're just really gifted. But the great equalizer, if you do not have time and that is not your life's goal, is a firearm. It's a concealable firearm that will allow you to defend yourself. And guess what? It happens every year that women stop themselves from doing assaults and murder.
All right. So when you think of the word gentleman, it's a gentle man. It's a man. It could be a man, but he could be gentle. So I mean, I think if we use that word literally and acted that way, the world would be a better place.
I understand that.
Especially for women.
Yes.
And for other men.
Agreed.
Because again, it's like the whole thing with bullies. Bullies are essentially cowards. They'll pick on you if they think they can take you, and if they think, man, no, I won't mess with that guy.
I think you have to merge the ideology with reality together. Because we want a better world, so we need the ideology.
Utopia will never exist.
Exactly.
What do you say?
Utopia won't exist.
Oh, yeah.
It's just because human nature, we're tribal by nature. We're not going to be evolving out of our tribalism for the next 100 years. But we can still have the ideals of making the world a better place. This is a better time than any time in human history, like peace-wise.
In some ways.
In always.
There's less war.
There's less war, there's less murder. The murder has been going down drastically since the 80s. It's not perfect. We still have a lot of crime. We still have a lot of problems within our country and around the world. But we can still have the ideals of being a better world, right? We can do that without ignoring the realities and saying, okay, this is where we want to be, but right now we have these problems, so we do not want to disarm people while we still have to deal with these problems.
The government, I don't think we'll ever really try to take the guns away. I've got friends that are like, like kind of gun rights guys that are like, the government's going to take away the guns, the Democrats are going to take our guns. I've been hearing that from them for 25 years or more.
Yeah,
They're not taking away
They
the
are
guns.
literally going.
I'm going to have to go back and read what they said.
SB 16. The reason why there was such a visceral response is because Governor Northam said that he was going to go door to door to remove firearms that he deems illegal, and then law enforcement. So much so that
I have not seen that. I'm not doubting you. I just have not seen that. But where did you get that
SB
information?
16, the actual bill.
That's right in the bill
itself.
the limiting.
All right, I'm on your side now.
Yeah.
And just like that, progress. Even if it's not permanent, and even if it's very small, it's still change. The only way to win this war against the Second Amendment is by winning hearts and minds. When you realize that most of these people want the exact same things we do, freedom, safety, and protection, it's not that hard to connect with them. The more we remove our ego from the argument and make satisfaction just a byproduct of it, the more people we are going to win over. So I encourage you all to get out there and fight the good fight and win hearts and minds.